Okay, so we're gonna do a nice sequence of poses that just kind of help to kind of alleviate frustration if you've had a frustrating day. Let's face it, we all have those from time to time. So it's good to just give yourself some kind of relaxation time, just to kind of wind yourself down from feeling anxious or kind of worrying about getting things done. So to start off with, we'll just come into dog down. So I'm just going to try not to disturb my cats too much. Have a bolster for your head, and then I just want you to come into dog down so you can have the blanket on top of the mat. If you feel like you're sliding on your mat, then just take hold of the blanket, just kind of grip the blanket, and then just come up into just a gentle dog down, just with your head resting on the blanket, on the bolster even. Try not to bend your elbows to find the bolster. Lift the bolster up if it's too low. Just spend a few moments just listening to the sound of the breath. So we're not working hard particularly. We're just using this pose just to invert the head, which brings a real deep sense of quietness and calm. So if you had a frustrating day, it's just a really nice way to let go of that anxiety and frustration. So we're not working very hard, just letting the head rest down on the bolster. Just focus on deep inhalations, deep exhalations. And then just come down onto your knees. So just get your bolster. If you've got two bolsters, even better. If you haven't, you can just just put some blocks just underneath your bolster like this, and then just raise the bolster up. But if you've got two bolsters, then that's really nice for this. It's good also if you've got a block handy, just to raise up the end of the bottom bolster. To have if you've got an oblong bolster, have that on the bottom, and have another bolster on the top. And then we're just going to come forward into our supported child's pose. Just rest your head on one side. You can reach underneath the bolster, just hold one hand with the other, and just release yourself down into the floor. Just listen to the sound of your breath as it enters and as it exits. Just alternating the side of your head that you rest on. So we're going to be here for a good 5 minutes. So just listen to the breath. Feel how the lower back releases. Observe how your arms relax at the shoulders. Just letting the weight of the lower arms lengthen the upper arms. So there's something deeply calming and reassuring about a child pose. Just allow yourself to just give in to gravity. As you inhale, visualize the air expanding horizontally across your whole upper back so that each shoulder blade rises gently. As you exhale, empty the breath completely while fully relaxing the upper back. Inhale and visualize the air expanding horizontally across the middle of your back, beneath the shoulder blades and above the waist. Exhale and release the breath as you relax the rib cage. Inhale and visualize the air expanding horizontally across the lower back and down into your hips. Then exhale and relax all effort in the breath. Release your abdomen fully. As you inhale the breath, spreading horizontally across the upper back, the middle back, and the lower back. As you observe the spine feeling longer from the neck to the seat. So inhaling across the upper back and exhaling across the upper back, inhaling across the middle back, exhaling across the middle back, and then inhaling along the lower back, and then exhaling along the lower back. So just working with that sequence. Okay, when you're ready, just sit yourself up, push your hands into the floor, and then sit yourself up. Just stay seated on your heels for a moment. Just lift the chest and then just observe how the body feels different, how your energy feels different. Okay, and then just move the top bolster, bring the bottom bolster just directly flat onto the floor. Have a rolled up blanket or a little bolster for underneath your, just the lower shins, and then have a block and a blanket for your head. So quite a lot of equipment there, isn't it? So the for underneath your shins, you've got a rolled up blanket or bolster. And you're going to come onto your front just so that the pelvis makes contact with the bolster, and then your chin needs to be free of the end of the mat, so end of the bolster. So just shuffle yourself up and then rest your head on the block. Have the block on the high end if you need it, with the blanket on top just for comfort, and then rest your arms just along the floor. And then go back to that back breathing process, breathing horizontally across the top of the back, and then along the middle of the back, and then along the lower back and the hips. So you just rest in your forehead, the center of the forehead on the block and the blanket, just to give your head support. This pose releases around the shoulders and the neck, allowing the spine to soften, helping relieve anxiety and frustration. And then when you're ready, just push your hands into the floor underneath your shoulders and then sit yourself up. Just come into cross legs for a moment and just observe how these simple poses really affect your energy, clarifying and cleaning the energy, giving you quietness, alertness at the same time. You can do a supported spinal twist. So we do this quite often. This is quite a nice pose. So sit with your hip close to the bolster, but then it's quite nice also to just have a blanket or a little bolster between, a folded blanket or a bolster between your knees, and then you're going to lift the chest, drive the chest along the bolster, and then have your elbows wide enough apart so that you're not supporting your weight with your elbows. You're just allowing your body to rest into the floor. You've got your elbows wide enough apart that you can just drape yourself over the bolster. So this is just really a nice release for your back and a nice way to let go of your tension. You can continue with the back breathing technique, breathing into the upper back, feeling the shoulder blades bulging outwards with the in-breath, relaxing with the out-breath, and breathing into the middle back, and then relaxing the middle back with the out-breath, and then breathing into the lower back, just cycling around those 3 breaths. And then when you're ready, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, bending your elbows, and then just lift yourself up, just into a brief cross-leg position. Just again, observe how your energy changes. And then just the same pose, but just on the other side. So come on to the other hip close to the bolster. Have the blanket or the little bolster in between your knees. Lift and open your chest, and then stretch your chest along the bolster, letting your chest face the bolster. And then rest your head down, resting your head in the same direction as your knees. So remember, you can cover yourself up if you're cold. Just allow the body to release. Just breathing normally or working with that back breathing technique. Remember to have your elbows wide enough apart so that you're not supporting your back and supporting your weight with your arms. You're supporting the bolster, is just allowing you to drape over it. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders, and then just push yourself up into a seated position, just sitting with the legs crossed, breathing evenly and deeply. And then we're going to do a supported seated angle pose. So sit yourself on a blanket, and then have another folded blanket or some pillows or some cushions underneath your knees. And then you're going to bring your knees wide apart, and then get your bolster, and then just bring your head onto your bolster. A circular bolster might be better than an oblong one, but if you've just got an oblong one, then just use the oblong bolster. So come forwards, just rest your hands on your lower shins, and then just rest forward, letting your head press into the bolster. So just listen to the breath, and just become comfortable in the pose. Just breathe evenly and deeply. And then just begin to gently lengthen your exhalation. As you lengthen your out breath, feel that worries and stresses and troubles release from your head space, and they travel down into the spine, into the ground, and deep into the earth below. So just letting frustrations just leave the headspace, travel down into the bottom of the spine and deep into the ground. And then just raise your head. And then we're just going to prepare ourselves for our basic relaxation pose. So we're doing this at the end rather than at the beginning. So you get your bolster for your knees, blocks from underneath your feet. It's really nice to wrap yourself up in something warm like a blanket. So if you've got a spare blanket handy, then just wrap up in the blanket for warmth. Have a blanket for underneath your head. So just come down onto your back. The bolsters from underneath your knees. Support your head and the back of your neck on the folded blanket. Let your arms stretch out. Just close your eyes. If you've got an eye pillow, it's nice to just cover your eyes. Just come into the pose and then gently release. Just feeling how the body is supported by the floor and the bolster and the blocks. Remember, it's fine to adjust if you need to. Just observe the soles of the feet and allow the soles of the feet to release and relax. Observe the tops of the feet. And then let the tops of the feet completely release and relax. Draw your attention into your shins. And allow your shins to release into the bed of the calf muscle. Draw your attention into your thighs and allow the fronts of the thighs to sink in towards the backs of the thighs. Observe the pelvis and consciously release the muscles around the pelvis, just allowing the base of the torso to release. Release and relax the abdomen. Relax the rib cage and the chest. And release and relax your shoulders and your upper arms and your lower arms. Releasing the forearms and palms of the hands. Softening your neck. Releasing tension and stress from the neck. And then soften the skin over the head, drawing your skin from the crown of the head down towards the neck. Releasing the eyes and the ears, and the nose, and your jaw, and your tongue, and your throat. So I'll just leave the rest of the session for silence. Just releasing into the floor. Okay, when you're ready to disturb yourself, just gently wriggle your toes and wriggle your fingers. Bring yourself back into this pose of supported Shavasana. Bring your feet onto the bolster. Just stay with the feet on the bolster, the knees together for a moment. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from top to bottom, from side to side, from just gentle grounding massage on the spine. And then roll onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then stretch out into the top leg, come back into a seated position, just a final cross legs with your hands in Namaste, just a final spinal lift. Just breathing in through your nose, down into the abdomen. Conscious of the energy that you have released through your gentle practice this evening, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the gentle sequence of poses bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then when you're ready, just gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, just allow your eyes to softly open and focus to softly come back. Oh, not sure what's going on there. I think he's just chasing his tail. Are you right, Arthur? Maybe he's got a flea. Are you all right? Okay, so thank you for joining me.